Well, jobs are the new focus in the pandemic, with employers and unions bracing themselves to figure out a new way forward. On the agenda will be last week's landmark court ruling over casual workers' annual and sick leave. It's a win for workers and a costly decision for businesses.
In most of the hotels that I worked, it was just accepted that you're there as a casual.
I worked 4 days a week. I had regular hours.
They're casual workers who could be entitled to so much more.
They use a lot of scare tactics, really. It's a case of you do what I say, if you don't, we'll just replace you. It's that easy.
Hard-working employees who say they've been left feeling undervalued and simply taken advantage of.
It's rectified a rort, and what will happen is that the businesses will then adjust. They won't do what they've been doing.
It comes at a difficult time. It makes something even more complex than it already is.
But now, the game changer, a court ruling that's turning the casual workforce on its head, but also has the potential to cost businesses billions. While the landmark decision doesn't automatically apply to all casual workers, it certainly does set a precedent. So that means if you work regular rostered shifts over a significant period of time, you could also be entitled to annual leave and sick leave, as well as any other entitlements that full-time employees get.
We didn't get any holiday pay. We didn't get any sick pay. If there was any bonuses or anything like that to be had, we didn't get any of that.
Paul Skeen was employed as a casual dump truck operator. For 4 years, he was a fly-in, fly-out worker at a coal mine in Queensland.
These big companies make billions and billions of dollars profit a year, and yet they still want to pay for cheap labour.
After being made redundant, Paul fought for his rights to leave entitlements. He won, and that decision was upheld last week when the federal court found casual workers with regular rostered shifts are entitled to annual leave and sick leave.
The companies want a commitment from you, yet they're not willing to give you a commitment.
We do all the jobs that everybody else does, but we just don't get the entitlements for it.
Gillian Wiseman is one of 2.6 million casual workers across Australia. The single mum of 3 says in these uncertain times, the ruling is welcome news.
I think people deserve a bit of security, and I think we work hard for it.
They don't want to pay the annual leave, they don't want to pay the sick leave. It's too much money for them to have to outlay, I think.
Jo has been a casual employee for a decade. She says any leave entitlements are a bonus.
Yeah, permanent part-time would be fantastic. I'd love that.
We don't want a free ride. We work hard, we're committed, we turn up on time.
The decision is a costly one for businesses. If the healthcare sector has to pay 25% of its casual staff holiday pay, it will cost an extra $166 million a year. Across the leisure sector, which includes tourism and hospitality, the bill will be $177 million. Across 20 different sectors, that amount balloons to $1.3 billion in holiday pay a year, with industry groups estimating potential back pay claims could add up to a massive $8 billion.
Casual staff might become more expensive, and that might mean that we can have fewer of them, or we've got to be more careful how we allocate hours.
Nathan Jankoskis runs 4 barbershops across Melbourne, Sydney and Canberra. He says the ruling is confusing for business owners.
There's lots of questions. There's so many grey areas around it, and it's really difficult.
Nathan believes the timing of the decision couldn't be worse.
I know a number of other retail and hospitality businesses for whom this is a super precarious and difficult time, and I think this for them could tip them over the edge.
Despite the legal win, the government is looking at backing businesses to change the legislation.
Business probably faces its greatest challenges, and employment faces its greatest challenges perhaps in our nation's history.
Attorney General Christian Porter.
So the timing of this decision clearly is not ideal, and we'll have an urgent consultative and cooperative response to try and work out what is the best path forward.
The permanent casual rort has to come to an end. The court has spoken. Governments should not override that.
CFMEU National President Tony Ma.
It's not right that people are employed for years at a time and have no access to leave, can't get a loan, and don't have any sick leave.
You're the little guy, so the little guy needs some help. So this is your way of getting some help.
The federal government and unions are hoping to come up with a plan for workers by September. Coming up.